Yeah, go.
Is the stream starting?
Yeah, it started.
Hello everyone, welcome to Authentic Racing Competition, round 2 in Bahrain qualifying. Just getting ready, loading into the, readying up now, preparing to go in. Different track, of course, to Australia, so hopefully we'll see different cars performing well. Of course, Mercedes, based off of round 1, look pretty much untouchable. But let's see if Ferrari and Red Bull this round could perhaps challenge him in qualifying. Jamil, of course, qualified P2 in round 1 before his grid penalty, and then with the issue that put him at the back of the field. So perhaps we could see another car split the Mercedes again, because much like real life, it seems that we can only ever see the rest of the grid challenge one of the Mercedes cars, not quite two of them.
Okay, so I'm just gonna check the sound real quick. Yeah, okay, it's good.
In now, preparing for the session. Hopefully, this race weekend could go without what's a very sleek day, go without issue. Was qualifying last week was fine, so hopefully we'll have the same this week. 19 car field, only car missing is one of the Red Bulls.
Okay, question. What do you reckon the strategy will be tomorrow?
Well, I personally would have gone with a medium hard, just to be safe on tyre wear. So if I was at a Mercedes, a Ferrari or a Red Bull, I would go for medium tyres in Q2. However, maybe some of the slightly better drivers, perhaps again sort of the Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bulls, maybe they're even more confident on their tyre wear and think they could do softs to hards, which could be interesting. But it depends how confident you are on your tyre wear. If you think you've got good tyre wear, then soft hard is probably your best shout. So of course easy to get in Q3 that way. However, if you're much less confident on your tyre wear and not sure if you can do the soft hard, which is quite can be quite tight on tyre wear, the medium hard is a good option. But of course, to do the medium hard, you either have to start outside the top 10 or qualify into Q3 on the medium tyres. Could be interesting.
Yeah, so
we are having our face master.
An important thing to remember that there is a best strategy and a fastest strategy. So in Australia, for example, the fastest strategy is soft to medium, but you'll get undercutted by the soft hard runners, for example. So some drivers may go for a soft hard strategy as well in tomorrow's race. So yeah.
I think it's going to be sort of all down to how confident some of these drivers are on their tyre wear. Because going soft hard, the softs, of course, you're going to have to pit. You can't. It's much harder to stretch softs than it is to stretch hards, because softs they last. Oh, that's Williams spun. That is Mike, I believe. Yeah, Mike has spun exit turn 10. Yeah, the softs, of course. Let's say, for example, they could go 8 laps. Pushing it one more lap, well, let's for the sake of it, say 10 laps, pushing it one more lap is going 10% more on sort of working range. Whereas on hard tyres, if they can do 20 laps, pushing them one more lap is only 5% extra on top of what you would normally do. So therefore you can sort of could do 2 more laps on hards, if in this case 20 and 10 is the amount of laps you can do, which I don't believe it is. But in this case, if it is 10 and 20 laps respectively and how long you can go on them, you could, in theory, do 2 more laps on the hard tyres for the same loss compared to your regular pace, as you could do 1 extra lap on the soft tyres. So I expect to see soft tyre runners sort of all pitting around the same time, and not pushing that stint much longer than you would if you were doing a 2-stop. With a hard stint, I expect to see that extended more than if you were doing a shorter strategy with more pit stops. First car I believe to set a lap will be one of the Williams cars of Nick, or I may be wrong.
Yeah, it's Nick.
There is a Red Bull ahead, but yeah, I think they're on that lap. Yeah. So, Nick, of course we have no idea of sort of sector times until later on. But in the Williams car, as I said, in Australia, it's going to be tough for them to get out of Q1. So they're obviously just going to try and get to the front of Q1 as the aim. And if neither cars crash, and perhaps one or two cars do, that could help them get a couple more positions. Of course, in Australia, it was the Williams that crashed, so didn't gain the team as a whole many positions there.
So through the last corner, Nick Pancras, third gear, and then short shifting with fourth gear, opening the DRS, and that is a 1 minute 28.2, currently at the top, but that is an improvement from TMD Ducky.
Considering Ducky's in the Alfa Romeo, of course their teammate has now beaten that lap by another 3 tenths almost. That's quite a good lap from Nick in the Williams car to be a tenth off an Alfa Romeo. I'd say that's pretty good. And then the Alfa Romeo of ATIX has done a great lap to actually get ahead of a Alpha Tauri at this stage. I'd say the Alpha at this stage is the Alfa Romeo on this current pace. However, what you'd expect based off Australia and just general knowledge of F1, you'd expect the Alpha Tauri the quicker car of the two. But Henk currently quickest. As I say, that Magic Alonso goes to 1. So only exactly 3 tenths ahead of Henk, which I'd say is a bit small, considering Renault to Ferrari pace. You'd imagine would be more than 3 tenths. And of course Henk only being 1 tenth away from Sam ahead of Sam in the Alpha Tauri. So as I said a minute ago, the Alpha Tauri actually looking quite good, ahead of a Racing Point at this stage by a considerable amount. As Jamil goes quickest 25.8. That's a solid lap. I expect to see low 25s. Especially from the Mercedes cars by the end of Q3, but a high 25 I'm sure will get them through into at least Q2, and that'll probably be a good enough time to get into Q3. But of course the car performance deficit is going to be what really makes the difference.
Yeah, so any viewers in the chat, what are your predictions who's going to Q2? Or a better question would be, who will not make it to Q2?
What are your predictions?
To be honest, both Williams again. Let me see. Maybe an Alpha Tauri. They're not fast in a straight line. The Haas's are pretty fast. The drivers are so fast, but the car isn't. So that's a problem.
Yeah. My prediction would be there are 2 Williams, 2 Alfa Romeos, and 1 Alpha Tauri, unless we see a crash. Because at the moment, as we saw in Australia, I guess that Williams and Alfa Romeo are going to be 2 slowest cars. Because, as you said, the Haas itself is quite a slow car that you'd imagine would be in the fight with the Williams and the Alfa Romeos. However, the driver lineup at Haas is a very strong driver lineup, which could drag that car up into Q2. I mean, the Collusion Bowl managed to get Haas into Q3 last time. Before crashing the race, which isn't what you want to see, but that Haas looked decent.
It certainly did. Yeah, that was a lap out of nowhere, to be honest, to get him into Q3.
Yeah, and then got P9 on the grid, I believe, which is very strong. I mean, you would not expect to see a Haas in the top 10.
No, definitely not.
Art Apple Gamer is currently, along with Mercedes, I believe, about to come near the line, as that is Legend going very quick there on a 25.4, and iQuicks, I believe, is just starting a lap now. As Art Apple Gamer went P4, only 2 tenths off Magic Alonso there. Quite close.
That should get him.
Ferrari at this stage, which is worrying for the Ferrari team. Red Bull looking quite quick at the moment, but Mercedes, as we saw in Australia, look like they have the ultimate pace. As I believe
Yeah.
Quicks is now on the lap, so we'll see how they're going.
That's very wide.
We'll walk up at the apex, wouldn't have impeded them though. Do down into turn 10 very hard not to lock up, and of course they do. Now towards turn 11. Apex staying out the way on the left there. Up the hill they now rise, keeping it flat all the way up here, and don't want to touch that inside curb. All over the outside curb, and a most wide turn in here, but they may have had to get on the power slightly late there, look, so the car's language there was going to go a bit wide. However, they keep it going, and towards the final corner they go. Let's see where they can put the Mercedes car. Can they beat their teammates' lap? No, they can't, but it is P2. 300ths ahead of a Red Bull. That's looking close.
Again,
down the order, we've got Krem in P4 now.
like in real life, the 2 Mercedes and 1 Red Bull very much at the front, separated by a big margin.
Bo is currently on an outlap. So we'll see if that Ferrari can, as Karem actually had failed to notice that originally. Karem's actually ahead of Magic Alonso. So now again, Karem in the early qualifying sessions appears to be sort of mixing it up with the front-running teams. Of course, last time they were impeded by a retired car in P3, which made it impossible for them to get vested rest. But this time, hopefully, they won't be impeded by a retiring car. As Bo, I believe, is now letting through a McLaren. No, they're not. That looked a bit tight there. Perhaps very close to impeding, but no, they didn't get going. They'd end up behind the McLaren. The McLaren took a solid lap though, going up from P9 behind an AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri, fair, looking pretty good with Sam's car. Up in P8 at this stage, quite close to the back of the Renaults. Felix not doing quite as well, over a second off their teammate, which it's not where you want to be.
No, that's not good, yeah. Bouillard seems to have some understeer on this car.
They're struggling a bit. It's a shame that we couldn't have a list of the sectors like you do when you're in the pit garage.
Yeah,
For us just to see, because then we'd know what the sector times are like. Because the sector times for us, and they only show sort of compared to previous laps. So the driver haven't done a previous lap, we have no clue what their pace is like. We could remember the sectors, but let's say I would forget it, having to try and remember 20 different sectors. Or 3 sectors, 20 drivers. Yeah, it'd be hard to do. Bo heading towards the final corner now. Technically the final couple of corners, because there's a tiny kink, which you see on the mini-map. Which counts as a corner. And Bo goes P4. 10th off of Red Bull, that's strong. If that car did indeed have understeer, like you said it did, perhaps a small change to the front wing, perhaps, which of course once you're in Parc Fermé is one of the few things you can do. Perhaps that could help them out. Perhaps they just didn't heat up their tyres well. The range of things that could have been causing it. Or perhaps they were slightly old tyres. Or it could have even been wing damage in the car that we may not have seen from a commentary position. We never know. But still, strong lap in P4, putting their teammate down to P6. 4/10 gap between the 2 Ferraris. At this stage, not too bad of a gap to each other. You want to try and keep the gap to your teammate as small as possible, because at the end of the day, they're the one that the team are going to base each other off of. So, like, with realistic car performance, the only driver that you can realistically measure yourself off of is your teammate. So, that's the guy you want to beat. Unless, of course, you're up in the top team that can perhaps challenge for the championship. Then, obviously, you're going to want to challenge for the championship. Yeah, as well, it's got a bit of a quiet part of this mid-session now. Just waiting for the cars to return to the pit lane. Or exit the pit lane, depending on where they are on track. Let's see, is there anyone pushing out this stage?
Yeah, Ashy Boy's on the lap.
Cool. They've got no ERS showing for me, but that may be a glitch.
Oh wait, yeah, he's not on the lap, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Ashy Boy maybe just really quickly returning to the pit lane to try and get another lap in. That's what it appears, as Jamil has given up. Happy with their first run, no need to go again. And we'll now watch the session from the spectator view. Until of course Q2 starts. As iQuicks does the same. And Ashy Boy does indeed pit.
Is anyone on a lap? No, right?
No one is currently on the lap. Oh, yes there is. And it is the Haas of Pollution Ball. About to start their lap now, I believe, as the top 4 have all now retired. Happy with their section so far as Pollution Ball. Down in P18, you expect them just getting Q3 last time out there, you're going to expect to see them further up the order. And I want to get at least through into Q2. P18 at the moment, not quite good enough. Currently Nick doing very well at this stage, as I just remember, because there's only 19 cars, only 4 cars will go out of this session. So, I think this could be quite a mixed up Q1 dropout zone. So at the moment there is actually Williams getting out of Q1, which is interesting.
Oh yeah,
Whether
Nick...
that lasts, I don't know.
Is Nick gonna go out, or no?
Doesn't look like it.
Ouch.
They want to go out in the next sort of 10 seconds if they want to make it out in time.
Because Pollution Ball's on
no
the lap, so he might improve.
I see no action now at the Williams end of the pit garage, so let's see. Keep an eye on Pollution Ball. Pollution Ball's currently 8 tenths up on their best lap, which would put them on a 27.4, sorry. And 27.4 would put them up into about P12. So I believe Nick is not going to make it through. So
And that is... yeah, P11 for Pollution Ball. And that is Nick out.
And Nick has now come out onto track, but I believe unless they cut every corner, they're not going to get a lap in. And they are going to cut every corner.
Or maybe the timings have glitched.
That's true, that is true.
Wait,
That
I
is
can't...
a known glitch.
I think his teammate's actually on the lap. Yeah, his teammate's on the lap.
Let's see, what can Mike do? Heading through the S's now. Can they get there? Williams out of Q1. They need to gain about over a second. Actually over a second and a half. Well, about a second and a half is what they need from Mike to get through. Nick only needs about half a second, so a bit less required for Nick. As who is that going quicker than? I think that's Atix going quicker. As Ardapple Gamer has been disqualified from the session for going the wrong way.
Oh, that is... yeah, last place.
So that means only 3 drivers will go out of Q1. Who will the 3 drivers currently? It's both Williams and an AlphaTauri. Just be lucky, I believe they gave up on the session thinking they'd be safe. It's starting to not look so good for them. Although Felix is not currently on a lap, so that's why Felix may not get through. Both Alfa Romeos in a strong position at this stage. Oh, was that blocking there from the Haas car in front of Nick? Nick's lap is already invalidated though, so on an out lap that was anyway, so it should be okay. As Mike is going for another lap here.
He must try again.
Can Ivor Williams get out of Q1? I think it's fair to say this is their best chance of the season so far to get out of Q1.
Definitely.
I'm not sure it's going to happen. I'm going to watch Nick here because I feel like if and he's run out of fuel. Oh no, that's his team. No, it's Mike that's run out of fuel. Mike's run out of fuel, so Mike's session is over. Mike will not get through.
Yeah.
Let's see what Nick can do though. Nick only needs over about 6 tenths, and Nick will get through. Let's see. Heading to turn 10 now. Tricky corner, but look, takes it nice and cleanly. I'll wait until the sector split to see what the gap is. I mean, I think it's fair to say that at Williams we don't expect them to be anywhere other than the back row of the grid. So, in theory, they are currently back row of the grid of the drivers that can set lap times. Nick is only 1/10 up. So, unless Nick can gain a lot of time in this final sector, I think it's looking pretty good for both Williams to go out in Q1. Felix has gone out in Q1 there, finishing the session. So Nick, good final sector, could put them up into P16. Across the line, it's P16, not quite the Q2 that they would have wanted, but I mean, it's pole position of Q1 in theory, which is not a bad way, not a bad place to qualify. Mike now heading towards the line and gonna pit just to make it wait longer. So, the 4 drivers not making it through into Q2 are Nick, Felix, Mike,
Article Gamer.
Article Gamer. I was trying to think then. Just thinking of Backmark and forgot that one was disqualified. Yeah. Very entertaining Q1 session. Very close to the front. Final Q1 results are Legend leading a Mercedes 1-2 in Q1. Ahead of iQuicks, then Jamil, Bo, Karem, Magic Alonso, Henk, Sam, Wushel, Pollution Ball, Ashy Boy, Ducky, Atix, MK17, Just Lucky, as Just Lucky hasn't made it through, despite getting P15. Then Nick, Felix, Mike, and R Gamer. They've eliminated 5 cars despite it being a 19-car field.
I didn't know that could happen.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's a bit worrying. Yeah. So does that mean that we'll have 9 cars in Q3 or only 4 cars going?
I think 10 cars in Q3. Must be.
But 14 cars in Q2. Oh no! I figured out why. I've just figured out why. It's because I saw it on track and didn't think anything of it at the time. But just feel like he retired on track. They crashed the car.
Oh,
and if you crash
they crashed.
The next session.
Oh.
They went. From what I saw, I went on board with the car, and at the time I thought they had just retired. But looking back on it, their car they went flat out on at turn 10, just straight on. So I saw the yellow flags, and at the time I thought it was weird for an AI to park there. So I thought it was technically a dangerous location. Because usually they go to like a special road. But yeah, that does make sense now.
Yeah,
Legend, first car out on track.
No, but this, I don't know. It's weird.
To be fair, if you crash though, if you crash the car in real life and you do get top 15, the team aren't going to be able to. Well, your car will be, it won't be in the pit lane, so you wouldn't get through into the next session.
Yeah.
Okay. There's one thing I dislike about going on board with Legend, and this is a very sort of pedantic thing, is that the shade on the helmet is sort of a light green, similar to that of the Patronus, but is too green for it. So it's like it's almost like they're going for it, but haven't nailed it. So it's
it's the wrong green.
I don't know about that, but if that was my helmet, that would annoy me. I don't usually go for a helmet to go with the car design. But if I am going to go for it, I do it so that it's perfectly like the right colour. So maybe this is just Legend's helmet design, and that's what they use for all cars. But if that was an attempt at Patronus green, it's not exactly spectacular.
Yeah, that. Anyway, he's Another
great exit there from Legend. Heading down towards turn 1. Tricky turn 1 here. Great overtaking spot in the race. Whilst we're here, actually I'll talk you through Legend's lap, then go through the tyres. Coming up the hill now through turn 3, trying to take it as tight as possible. Now you want to just get a straight run up the hill. You want to lose as much of the curb on the left hand side. Fairly average turn in, sort of just get the car plunged on the exit, and then really get the nose turned in there, and it's purple in sector 1 obviously, as Legend is the first through there. Not going too wide through any of those corners, those curves will slow you down. Nice through the hairpin, small lock-up, but nothing unexpected. Got a carbon entry into turn 10, now again small lock-up on the left front, I'm guessing no. Very good on the brakes for Legend. It's out of there, straight lining towards turn 11. Again, taking curb on entry, which is a big thing around Bahrain. Just getting the tyre to the front left to the apex curb. Running a bit wide there, and that's a big mistake. That's a mistake there from Legend. They went a bit too wide on the exit at turn 11, pushing the car wide, and then that obviously impeded their exit. As a Alfa Romeo has spun in the at the end of the S section in sector 2, but they've got back going again. The Legend into the final corner, another lock up wide of the apex. Small bit of curb on the left hand side, which you don't want to take too much of. Now going straight lining it to the line, and it's a 26.6 on the medium tyres, which isn't great. So you can see that those mistakes on that, but it's still a half a second ahead of Jamil, who we saw on the medium tyres. So now you'll see a mix of drivers going for the mediums and a mix of drivers going for the softs. Both Ferraris have gone soft.
Sam D
and
has crashed.
Slipstream each other towards someone. Oh, and that is on the exit of the S section. I'm guessing they've spun it through there.
Must be. I can't see it anymore.
Yeah, Magic Alonso off into turn 4 now. This Ferrari, both Ferraris obviously on the soft tyres, they've gone a different way. Ferrari this season not looking quite with a car that is competitive enough. And of course when the performance patch comes in, it'll be even less competitive. So perhaps they're just going to try something a bit different to just try and beat Mercedes and Red Bull on strategy. Ferrari had a miserable round 1 of the season. I think they only came out of it with 11 points, which would not have been what they wanted. Looking to bounce back here in Bahrain.
Yeah, they got 11 points. They're behind Renault and Red Bull and Mercedes.
Wow. You'd expect them to be behind Mercedes. You'd imagine they'd be in the fight with Red Bull, but to be behind Renault, bit of a shocker there for the cars in red. However, in theory, you said at the end of Australia that Bahrain should be a track that suits the car. Mercedes look pretty dominant though so far. And I have to put that down to the car. Just in general, the Mercedes car is a very quick car. But P1, Magic Alonso pretty much matching their Q1 lap time. Now 25.8. Looks like quite a big delta difference between the softs and the medium tyres. As Bo has pitted before setting a lap time, so just the same as Q1, not getting an initial lap in early. So that could be interesting to see what tyres they come out on. Will any of the Mercedes or will the Mercedes or Red Bull Jamil decide to go back out on a soft tyre, react to Ferrari going to this strategic game? Because if they all go for the same strategy, none of them have an advantage. So perhaps they want to just, if they think that they can beat the Ferrari on pace, perhaps match the Ferrari strategy and just beat them that way. Or they'll sort of, unless they're confident in their strategy and they want to stick with that, they may stay with that and just know, they're that confident with the strategy and they know that it's the quicker strategy, then they will stay with the mediums and probably not do enough of a run. Because Ashley Boy on the soft tyre, 3 temps off iQuicks, although that of course is a McLaren, and you would imagine perhaps, as we can't find out both fast cars into Q2, it's very strong from them, and the same for Alfa Romeo. So all 6 Ferrari powered cars made it through into Q2 today, which is very nice to see. Yeah. Will the front runners want to go out again? That is my question. And if they do, what tyres?
I'm not sure. FIA Magic Alonso surely has his Q3 spot, but not on the best tyre, I think.
It depends. It's as I said earlier on, it depends how confident you are on your tyre wear. Because either way, I think it's the one sort you're going to go with. So it's either the soft hard and really sort of be confident in your tyre conserving abilities, or medium hard, and sort of that's a much more comfortable strategy. It's sort of fairly simple to make that strategy work. As we now start to see some drivers go out for their second runs. The Alfa Romeo of Ducky has just crossed the line. And so, see how they do on their lap. Do you think an Alfa Romeo and a Haas can get into Q3 again?
The Haas's, I think. Alfa Romeo, maybe. They've got the power and the drag reduction. Haas also has the power, but has a lot of drag. It's not as fast as the Alfa Romeo and Ferrari.
And validation for Ducky there, so Ducky I'm sure will pit at the end of this lap. And go again later in the session. So no bank lap in for Ducky. So if we so Sam is definitely out of the session. So that means only 3 drivers will go out of this session. So we can guarantee at least 1 Alfa Romeo or 1 Haas will make it through. Based off of last race and last qualifying, Collusion Bowl looks like the favourite out of these 4 cars. Well, they're currently down at P13 on an outlap on the medium tyres. Perhaps they're going to try and get through on the mediums. That could be a weakness if they don't get if they sort of are too confident with this. Look at as Magic Alonso has come back out on the medium tyres. Surely they can't. I mean, we've seen the Mercedes and Red Bull laps on the mediums. Surely they can't beat it.
No.
Beat their soft run with mediums. I'd be very shocked if that happens.
I do not believe he can improve his time.
iQuick's gone back out on the medium tyres. Although Legend has equipped the soft tyres, however has not exited the garage yet. So perhaps waiting to see what others do.
The thing is, with these medium tires, you can use them as much as you want because you'll get a new, fresh set of mediums in the race.
P2 goes Bo there, behind their teammate by a couple tenths. So that's a tough lap there. Not exactly what they expected, but that is safe for Q3, I'd say.
Yeah.
Safe for Q3, but it's down their teammate, so we'll see. And considering compared to the Mercedes pace from Q1, it's not looking too good for Ferrari. Red Bull as well, not looking amazing, but as we said earlier on, they look like they're Tim Millsbury playing the Verstappen role of just sort of sticking with the Mercedes.
Yeah,
not
at least
quite having
one.
the pace to beat them and win races, but keep up with them is I think his aim.
Okay, so Karam is almost finishing his lap. No real mistakes so far, but the lap's not over yet.
Looks clean through the final corner. And P6, wow. Look how close that is to a Mercedes on the mediums.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing, that. I mean, if Karam was on the soft, I think it's fair to say, I'd expect to see if Karam was on the soft, him up there with the Ferrari pace. That's insanely quick. I've never quite seen pace like that. Medium, I thought Karam would be sort of flirting with being knocked out of Q2 here, not making it into Q3 if they didn't switch to the softs, but they proved me wrong. And also has to pick Collusion Bowl, quickest of the Alfa Romeo and Haas battle. Although, due to Russell currently being, having a lap of 144.6, there's an Alfa Romeo 8X currently in the top 10.
I think Ushul will knock him out. Unless he bottles, but seems clean so far.
Magic Alonso yet to beat their best lap time. Doesn't look quick from the onboard, to be honest. Half second down in sector 1 alone. As you'll have 5 down to film 1, that is Collision Bolt, I think, just slowly exiting the pit lane. But I think the Ferraris have definitely committed to the, as that is Legend coming out of the pits on the soft, and the same for iQuicks. And yeah, it looks like most of these guys could well be going for the soft tyre strategy.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Just we'll have to wait and see. Krem, Malay, I'm sure Krem will go out on the soft, which I believe they are doing now. But will Krem set the lap? That's the question I have.
MK17 is still not set the lap.
Drivers in the tops, as Ducky exits the pits, now gonna have to cut corners. MK17 is still in the garage. I think MK17 is out of the session.
I think so.
As Magic Alonso retires.
There's a bunch of cars. It's the beginning of Sector 2.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's iQuicks, Atix, and Hank involved here. Yeah, Wushel currently P3. Missed that. Currently head of a Mercedes, of course, on a different tyre compound, but still promising to see that. Interesting thing here is the midfield teams that do get through into Q3. Midfield teams perhaps slightly worse on the tyre wear, you'd imagine. Could they struggle with the soft hard strategy more than the top teams would?
I'm not really sure about the tyre wear status of any car with these performances. Probably the Haas is really bad on the tyres, but I'm not really sure. There's a bunch of cars lining up.
Maybe actually trying to pull into the slipstream of Legend. As they're backing out down the straight, I think they're trying to get behind a quicker car than them. Or as Hank goes now. Legend leaving it a bit late here. They're ready. The cars behind them aren't going to get a lap in here. That's fine. Yeah, Legend.
I think the timing might be glitched, though.
Okay, I'll have to wait and see. If it isn't, this could all go wrong, and it is glitched. That's lovely to see.
TTV iQuick is so close.
Very close behind though is that Atix, very close to 2 mil. Of course it is a Red Bull, so you'd imagine that Red Bull's going to pull away quickly. But yeah, Atix doing absolutely everything to try and get through. Ducky also out on track. Ducky's improving quite a bit, to get onto their teammates' pace. But not perhaps enough. As Pollution Bowl, P8 is the best they can do. Krem on the soft tyres out there. Can they improve? Or will they want to improve? As Ashy Boy on the soft goes P5. Next across the line will be Ducky. Although Ducky is still just in the early stages of Sector 3. Very quick sector, Sector 3. Only 2 braking zones in it. Although the same could be said for Sector 1 as well. Ducky around the final corner. Well, we've seen Alfa Romeo of Ducky into Q3, up into P10. Can it be beaten? Next car to cross the line will be MK17. And
Hank.
Okay, that's a massive. Hank P3. Ducky's out. Collusion Bolt P10 here, a risk. Massive timing glitch though.
Oh wait, MK17 is on a lap.
Yeah, that's my. Yeah, they've crossed the line after Jack Flat. They've 100%. I was on board. 100% crossed the line after the checkered flag.
That is weird.
Was up the road.
Yeah.
Massive timing glitch here.
Gotta
My
love.
game's also telling me that MK17's gone purple in the first sector.
Yeah,
I
same.
can just tell by looking at the sector time. I can tell that isn't true. It's 28. I saw 27s from other cars.
Either Plusionable or MK17 is going through to
It'll be a Haas.
Q3. Someone's saying he's cheating.
Yeah, this is fair. It's not deliberate cheating, but technically it is. It's not in the rules. No other driver has been allowed to set another lap. I'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's just a bug in the game, but
There's lots of timing glitches.
yeah.
Last year's game we only had the one, which is just sort of the time would look different on spectators to its drivers. MK17, where did they come from? I
P11.
didn't actually see that.
P11. I saw it.
So
Oh.
As 10 and 11, not bad. Alfa Romeo 12 and 13th, again, not bad. Who will be starting on the medium tyres for the race tomorrow? Legend, Jamil, iQuicks and Kerem. 4 drivers start on the mediums, 6 will start on the softs. That'll be very intriguing to see. This could work out quite well for the Alfa Romeos and the Haas of MK17. Because if there is sort of the Renaults, the McLaren, and the Implosion Bolt can't make the soft hard strategy work, or it's slower than the medium hard strategy, MK17 here could do quite well. Because they weren't far off their teammate, and they'll of course have 3 choices of tyre. So if Implosion Bolt only does manage P10, they're only one place up on the grid for what could be a perhaps a weak strategy. But as I said, it comes down to tyre wear. And Mercedes, a team that you expect to have good tyre wear, have gone with the conservative strategy of. Whereas Ferrari, which is a low downforce car, you'd expect to have quite high tyre wear. In fact, has gone with the strategy that requires the low tyre wear. But perhaps the drivers are able to manage it.
Okay, I see movement in both Mercedes garages and I think also both Ferrari garages.
Yep, and that is, I believe, a Haas car coming out near the end of the pit lane. No, it's a Racing Point. That could be a Haas car, though. And if it is indeed a Haas car at the end of the pit. Lovely. First car out on track will be Kerem, the only midfield team to be able to get a driver through on medium tyres, and that was Kerem.
Quite impressive.
Not far off of the iQuicks either, if I remember correctly, so very good.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah,
notice
correct.
Kerem is running the number 27, so it's in fact Nico Hulkenberg we're watching here. Of course, he only to reserve in 2020, so his number is in the game. Yeah. Funny just seeing 27 on the side of the Racing Point, seeing as it was actually on the side of it in real life. Strange.
I haven't thought about that actually.
Yeah, that's the thing. Usually, obviously, with not being allowed to use the driver's numbers, but I probably wouldn't have picked up on it if it wasn't on any other car, because 27 on any other car is just the number 27. But it's the fact that in real life we did see the 27 in a race on a Racing Point car. So in fact, this is Nico Hulkenberg we're watching here, guys. Very interesting. But I will call them Kerem though, just because, I mean, unless Kerem never wants a podium, it's up to them really.
I don't think he wants a podium.
Well, you never know. Lucan Ball is second car out on track, but heating up the tyres and weaving quite a bit here. Number 24 Haas car. Any drivers run the number 24? I'm sure there is that I've forgotten.
Don't think so.
Obviously these aren't current drivers, but we can try and think of classic, not classic, but sort of since 2014 drivers that are no longer in F1.
Yeah.
Ball starts the lap.
Yeah, so Shisui Alaki did crash. He just confirmed, but
strange, because it looked like they'd gone flat out with turn 10. I don't really understand how you could crash there.
neither.
Because you'd have to have one hell of a... I mean, even if you locked up both front tyres, you'd still hit the wall with a low enough speed to... I mean, even if you're locked up by front, I mean, you have to not brake. It's the only way I can see that crash occurring.
Wait, did MK17 qualify behind Shisui Alaki in Q1?
I don't know. But they may have. No, they couldn't have. Because the cars, Shisui Alaki was P15. So the cars behind Shisui Alaki were the cars in the drop zone.
MK was always ahead. MK was always ahead of Shisui Alaki, so makes sense that.
Because I remember Shisui Alaki being the time that the Williams cars were trying to beat.
Okay, so
first lap time. But it takes 2. It's a strong lap time for a racing form.
indeed.
Next up in the solution ball.
Oh,
And 25.7. But Legend 25.3. There we go. Mercedes ruining Ferrari's day, and as I said earlier though, that second Mercedes looking vulnerable to attack from the from Red Bull and Ferrari. But Jamil, oh look at that battle for P2.
wow.
Very close battle there. Where's Magic Alonso on track? They are, let's see, are they pushing out this stage?
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Where will Magic Alonso go? Can they join the battle for P2? iQuicks, no offense to them, but very much of the Bottas this season.
Yeah.
Sort of the rear gunner for Mercedes. Magic Alonso only P5, but only a tenth and a half, really. Only a tenth off Jamil. So Magic Alonso was stuck on a 25.8 because I think they've done that in every single session so far. Yeah, maybe for the first time this session, if they beat their Q3 lap at the end, they can get off 25.8. And if they can improve it by a tenth, they can get up into Jamil territory. Yeah, Wushel, where are they? They are on a push lap. Up at the exit turn 4 into turn 5 now. What can Wushel do? McLaren team not looking too strong here. Got both cars into Q3, which is obviously very strong. But on the actual raw pace, neither driver looks front of the midfield pace. Which very much looks to be Henk versus Karam. Although Karam looks to have quite a good stranglehold on that at the moment.
Wusha was quite fast in pre-season testing.
So let's see what they'll do here then. Two McLaren's very close to each other, perhaps a small bit of, maybe going for a slipstream here.
No.
No? Just giving them dirty air through the corners and backing away before the bit where they could use the speed. Good teamwork. Wushel into the final corner now. And across the line to set a 26.4, so in the battle, best of the rest. Again, for the second race in a row, the best of the rest will be P6, rather than P7, which is what you see usually. I mean, once the car performance update comes in, I'd expect to see, as Bo's already out on a second lap. Wow.
He might be doing three laps? Or two laps on this tire. Okay, he's cutting.
Those tires look fresh. I don't.
Oh wait,
if they were doing 2 laps back to back, I don't think they would go out this early.
It's a lap old already.
Is it?
Yeah, you can check.
My eyes are blind to me. The Legends also come out now. So anyone else? Whoosh is obviously still out on track.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so Bouillard is starting his lap.
Let's see what they can do. Can they get that P2 on the grid? Cross the line to start the lap. Is Wushel letting through? Yeah, Wushel's cycle up in sector 3. But into turn 1 goes Bo up the hill now. They climb. Try and take as much speed that Ferrari in theory should have quite a relatively good top speed here. Very close to exceeding track limits, but does not, which is a very good thing to see. Now into the downhill section, apparently purple in sector 1, they're a 10th up on their best. They can carry that through for the rest of the lap, that would give them P2. After they gain a 10th in every sector, that pretty much that would give them a very good lap. Although still not quite legend pace. Into the tricky turn 10. Downhill, left-hand braking zone. DRS back open now towards turn 11. And then the climb back up the hill. Again, taking lots of curb on entry. Just grazing the inside curb there, not using any of the exit curb. And taking the quickest line he can up the hill. Now, curb on entrance into the penultimate corner. I actually missed the delta there, my bad. It's 3 temps up, so this is very strong here for Bo. Into the final corner they go. Now, on to the main straight. What will this lap time be? It's P2. 400ths off the Mercedes of Legend. I don't think Bo has enough time for another lap. I mean, they're going to give it a go though. Cutting every corner to get there, I'm imagining. Meanwhile, Legend, currently 4 temp arcade, so forget any battle for pole there. Legend, 4 temps up. And now, through the final corner, onto the main straight, DRS open, and across the line to set a 24.8. I'm sorry, what? That can't be allowed. That's too quick. Legend has pole position. There's no need to wait for the rest of the lap times. I mean, the drivers will, hopefully the driver proves, any of the drivers prove me wrong here. But that's 9 temps quicker than their teammates' initial lap.
9
and that
tenths.
is a half a second quicker than the Ferrari. Wow, it's a very good lap. iQuicks begins their lap now, their final run of the session. As one of the McLarens, that is Wushel heading out now. Ashley Boy, I don't think they had another set of tyres, so they're going up their session now. Pluton Ball's going to have to have one hell of a lap to get P9 though. As iQuicks towards the first sector split, they are just 300ths up. That's not the delta they would have wanted to see compared to Bo. That's a big lock up on the inside front, but it looks like they've maintained the speed there through the corner. Now heading towards to the tricky turn 10. Downhill, another small lock up on the left front, which you'd expect to see for a corner like that. Not too bad in qualifying, it may hurt you a bit in the race though, a bit extra wear on that tyre. Up the hill they go now. Can iQuicks challenge for the front row? Can they challenge for pole? Through the sector 2 split, they are 3, almost 4 temps up. 4 temps would get them up into P2. Can they do it? Into the final couple of corners now. iQuicks takes the corner. Gearing up now to 7th. DRS open, up to 8th. Across the line is P2 with a 25.190. It's a strong lap. Strong lap.
Now Magic Alonso is on a lap, I think.
Can Magic Alonso join their teammate on the second row of the grid? Can Jamil challenge them?
I haven't seen much of Jamil actually, or spectated him much. It's not really.
What can Jamil do? Red Bulls looked fairly average on pace in this session compared to the Mercedes and the Ferrari. In Australia, the Red Bull looked like the second quickest car, arguably. But here it's not looked quite on the same pace. What can they do?
Through the final corner, 3rd gear, short shifting 4th, down the main straight, DRS open, and that is a 1 minute 25.3.
So,
P3.
can Magic Alonso beat it? Can Magic Alonso get the second row of the grid? Can they get that P3 slot? They cannot. It's P5. As Bo, they have used the timing glitch this time to get another run. So this time the timing glitch falls upon Bo. He will get another run in after the session has finished. And it has finished because the car in front of them got the checkered flag on my screen. So.
Oh, that's Magic Alonso in the way.
It's an AI though, it's an AI, they can't do anything. It's the game takes control. Through sector 1, they're down by 10th. I think Bo's going to be stuck on this. I mean, to be fair, all they need is 300s, and they've got 200s, and they've got P3. Can they get into the top 3? Get an apex there nicely. There's going to be another AI up ahead of the late catch Jamil's AI. Good Jamil's AI maintain P3 here. So close on the edge of track limits there. Absolutely to perfection.
Will it be in the way?
Corner. It'll be down the straight though, so you actually get a bit of a slipstream from it. Oh, into the final corner. On the exit now. Where will they go here? DRS is open, and it's P4. Lost 2 tenths on that lap. They actually just did a bit of suspension arm there, so I don't know which car. I believe it's Henk that's crashed down the main straight. Oh my, indeed it is. Henk's currently missing his front left and his rear right.
That's a lot of
which
damage.
Ferrari is that? Is that Magic Alonso that's about to pass? No, yes it is. Let's get a good view here. All the time on that. And they're actually going to go near it. Oh my, how has he done that? I mean, that takes some skill to remove those 2 tyres. But,
damn.
I believe that is the session over. Legend on pole position. Takes their 2nd pole in the season. And at the moment, Legend looks unstoppable. The grid, well, professional grid, awaiting any sort of penalties. Of course, check the Instagram for Authentic Racing Competition to see the official grid after any sort of penalties are dished out. But the provisional results for Q3: Legend on pole by 3 attempts to their teammate iQuicks in P2. Jamil gets sort of the best of the rest sort of slot of the top teams of P3 there. Then it is Bo's Ferrari, then Magic Alonso's Ferrari. Then Karam gets best of the rest of the midfield teams. Then Wushel 7th, Henk 8th, Pollution Ball and the Haas actually beats Ashy Boy. So Pollution Ball, I believe that's their 2nd P9 of the season. So Pollution Ball, very strong so far. So there's 2 best of the rest at the moment. There's 3 battles going on. There's a battle for pole, then there's a battle for sort of P3, and then there's a battle for P6. Yeah.
Quite interesting indeed.
Indeed it is.
Who do you think will win the race tomorrow?
If that strategy works out, perhaps early in the race especially, they could get the jump on the Mercedes and Red Bull that are ahead of them. But yeah, hopefully the Ferrari of Magic Alonso won't make the same mistake as last time, where they got a 30-second time penalty for starting the wrong compound.
Yeah.
So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But yeah, for Ferrari's sake, they're struggling a bit this season, but as you said earlier in the stream, behind Renault. Yeah, who's your prediction for the win?
Legend, I think, just like last round. Nothing more to say really. He should be able to do the job tomorrow, so maybe a challenge from his teammate iQuick once again into turn 1 or something, and then Jamil, if he could keep his tires in check, then he should be able to maybe even win, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's going to be down to that sort of strategy, I feel, which could make things very interesting.
Okay, anyway, that was qualifying. We will see you all tomorrow for the race at 20:30 CET at Bahrain, obviously. So yeah, anything else to say, Jackson? All right, see you all tomorrow.